From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Thursday morning. It's 5 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you for starting your day with us. Our top story this morning, the man who escaped from the Bighorn County Jail in Hardin and managed to avoid being recaptured for almost a month will spend the next decade in prison. 26-year-old Andrew Parham was handed that sentence yesterday afternoon. Back in February, Parham and two other inmates lured a deputy into a cell and assaulted him to get his keys. They then roughed up a dispatcher and made their escape through a garage door. Parham's accomplices, Anthony Castro and Stephen Caplet, are currently in jail in Yellowstone County awaiting their trial. 3 others will also face felony charges for their role in the jailbreak. Now we go to Rosebud County, where at least one person died when a car struck a horse, causing the vehicle to go off the right side of the road up an embankment before landing in the ditch. It happened yesterday just before 1 a.m. on Highway 4 in Lame Deer on the south end of town. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, it's still unclear how many people were in the car or how many people were injured or passed away. We do know it took crews hours to extricate at least one passenger. This accident is similar to one that happened exactly 2 weeks prior in Lame Deer when 2 people passed away after their vehicle struck a cow. Now it's time to check in on weather with Ed. You're here to tell us about our forecast. Things warming up a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit.
Sure.
We'll take what we can get a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to get a little warmer after this chilly round of weather that we've had. 46 right now at the airport, a little bit of a southwest wind, 16 miles per hour. The winds have been kind of off and on around the Billings area. Yesterday it did gust up a little bit. We hit 67 yesterday afternoon, 10 degrees below the seasonal average, but those wind gusts also hit near 30 miles an hour for portions of the day. This morning we're starting off at 33 in Butte, but 47 in Glasgow right now on the other end of things. 37 for you in Livingston. Cody, you're 1 degree warmer at 38 along with Sheridan, and 44 in Miles City. For southern Montana and northern Wyoming, we got a lot of 30s and 40s across the map here to get started. Some readings in the upper 40s. How about Ingomar right now at 48 degrees, but only 32 in White Sulphur Springs. As the temperatures warm up this afternoon, we'll hit highs up into the mid to lower 70s, starting to get a little closer to average for this time of the year. We'll take a look at the weekend forecast and let you know what's going to happen even through early next week, coming up in a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. I will get back to the news. Thanks, Ed. A local hospital is getting some much-needed assistance as they struggle to manage a surge in patients due to the rise in COVID-19 cases. 20 staff members from Colorado hospitals are now taking care of some of the additional patients at St. Vincent Healthcare here in Billings. The out-of-state workers plan to be here anywhere from 2 weeks to a month and say they're eager to pitch in.
Something in your gut that says you have to come help. You know, we've been short-staffed and overwhelmed at Lutheran before, and it's an awful feeling, and to be able to come in and, you know, kind of help ease that burden for them just makes me super proud of the way the system is able to come together and show their strength and unity.
So far this week, between 30 and 40 COVID-19 patients were hospitalized at St. Vincent Healthcare. The pandemic has made it difficult for the Census Bureau and changed the way they collect their count. A federal judge has put a temporary halt on the Trump administration's plans to end the count this month. But state officials say that's not stopping them from trying to have every Montanan counted by September 30th. State partners are actively reaching out to low count areas, and Governor Bullock allocated more than $500,000 to census promotion. Right now, Montana is 48th in the nation in census return rate.
The court require the Census Bureau to extend the deadline. We'll take full advantage of every single day that's available. But given that the goalposts have continued to move on the 2020 census throughout the last year, we're doing all we can to ensure Montanans respond to the census.
And anyone can go to my2020census.gov or call the number you see on your screen to be counted. In campaign news, Vice President Mike Pence and top officials from President Donald Trump's campaign will be in Bozeman on Monday. According to CNN, Pence will attend a private fundraiser. The day is also expected to include an event for Senator Steve Daines. Kimberly Guilfoyle, GOP Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, and Republican National Committee Finance Chairman Todd Ricketts are also expected to make the trip. Meanwhile, a new book discloses President Trump knew the coronavirus was deadly around the same time he publicly downplayed the threat. As CBS's Laura Podesta reports, now the author and the president are being criticized.
Celebrated journalist Bob Woodward spoke to President Trump more than a dozen times in doing research for his new book, Rage. One conversation is under particular scrutiny. It took place in early February, a day after Mr. Trump had spoken with Chinese President Xi Jinping. In audio recordings obtained by the Washington Post, the president admitted to the severity of the virus.
You just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. This is deadly stuff.
Shortly after that was recorded, the president told the American people COVID-19 was nothing to worry about.
It's a little like the regular flu that we have flu shots for.
Democrats are now railing against the president for not warning the country what was coming.
He had the information. He knew how dangerous it was. Now, while this deadly disease ripped through our nation, he failed to do his job on purpose.
How many people would still be alive today if he just told Americans the truth?
Defending himself yesterday, the president said he never wanted to create panic.
I'm a cheerleader for this country. I love our country, and I don't want people to be frightened.
Also facing criticism is the book's author. On Twitter, many are asking Woodward why he withheld the tapes and is only now using essential information to sell a book. Woodward told the Associated Press he needed time to verify what the president was saying. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
In an interview with the Washington Post, Woodward said if anything he gathered was a legitimate public health issue, he would have sought to have it published. Also making headlines this morning, officials say the medical issue that put a pause on AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccine trial was a serious spinal cord problem in a test volunteer. The trial won't move forward until officials can determine if it was caused by the vaccine or something else. More than 900,000 people have been killed by COVID-19 worldwide, and more than 190,000 of those deaths have been here in the United States. Dozens of wildfires are burning throughout the West, and unfortunately, some have turned deadly. At least 3 people died from a fire in California. As CBS's Daniel Backus reports, officials hope cooler and less windy weather today will give firefighters a chance to contain some of the flames.
Talent, Oregon is one of a handful of towns destroyed by wildfires raging throughout the western United States.
This could be the greatest loss of human lives and property due to wildfire in our state's history.
A 12-year-old boy and his grandmother died in Marion County.
We're going to see and continue to see a lot of devastation and loss of life.
In Washington, 1-year-old Uriel Highland died when the Cold Springs fire tore through Okanogan County.
It makes you think of, where would I be if this was my child?
In the eastern part of the state, a wildfire is estimated to have destroyed 80% of the town of Malden.
Everything that we own over the past 20 years, gone.
This is a look at the devastation left behind by the Creek Fire, one of dozens burning in California. Cressman's, a landmark in the Fresno County mountains since 1904, was reduced to rubble, and officials say more than 300 structures have been destroyed.
Rattled nerves,
Brenda Hampton lost her home in the 2018 Camp Fire that killed 85. She again had to evacuate as the deadly Bear Fire rages nearby.
I just want to know where the rest of my family is.
At least 3 people have died. Hampton is still waiting to hear from her sons. She and her granddaughter spent the night outside a Walmart, ash blowing through the car window.
I played in ash.
In San Francisco, a sign of the historic wildfire season with orange skies blanketing the city. Danya Backus, CBS News, Fresno County, California.
Bay Area health experts say there's not much of a health risk right now thanks to San Francisco's foggy weather that helps keep the smoke particles away. And here in Montana, stories of courage and teamwork are rising with the smoke from wildfires across the state. MTN's Cody Boyer spoke with the fire chief and his young daughter to learn how they saved a home in the Bridger Mountains.
All 4 to the parking lot, be ready to egress.
It's like, wow, I had my 16-year-old daughter with me through this.
Jeremiah Hillier has fought fires in Gallatin County for 19 years. Even to him, this was new.
We had four trigger points, and this thing blew by all 4 trigger points. In 19 years, I've never seen the fire behavior anywhere close to that.
And by his side, driving through the haze, was Cheyenne.
She's been with us now
2 years?
2 years?
Cheyenne has ridden with her dad since she was 2. With the help of a Boy Scout Explorer program, she's been able to help the department, but wasn't prepared for this.
My dad calls home and he's like, get Cheyenne going. I'm gonna need her help tomorrow. And I'm sitting here like, okay, cool. I get to tag along on this fire, and it was definitely something I wasn't prepared for.
I can truly say we saved 2 houses up behind the fire station by doing work after dark. That was our safe zone. We had to protect that firehouse. That was where we were safe.
Teams worked quickly, but the fire also targeted them and the Bridger Canyon Fire Station itself. Working together, Jeremiah, Cheyenne, and the team stopped the fire just short of the station.
You see things in this fire that you don't hear stories about.
The father-daughter team, like others in the heat, even had to sleep in the truck.
She was able to lighten the mood and bring the reality back to, hey, we're doing the best we can. So it was really great to have her in the truck with me.
16, I was really hoping to have a nice, easy sophomore year of high school. I'm super proud of our community. It came together when we needed it to.
Now, even though the space might be a little bit small, Cheyenne does say that she would do it all over again. In Gallatin County, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Cheyenne says she plans to continue with the Explorer program for at least the next 2 years. Now, closer to home, Laurel families will be able to watch their loved ones participate in high school sports. Last night, the school board approved a plan that would allow each participant 4 fans per game. Visiting teams will also be allowed 4 fans for every coach and player. Continuing our coverage, Bozeman's mayor is officially stepping down after the city commission requested he resign. The move comes after hundreds of documents were released showing Chris Mell mistreated city staff. Last night, the city's deputy mayor was sworn in. She gave Mell some credit, saying he contributed greatly to the community. MTN spoke with a disgraced former mayor to get his thoughts on his resignation.
I thought it was important that the voters deserve somebody who works hard for the city, and so every morning I would get up and try to be proactive and prepared as an elected official under the city management system that we have. Unfortunately, some of the other city commissioners don't see it that way. And so I don't want to be a disruption. Our citizens need a lot of attention right now. There's a lot going on, as we all know. And so I'm resigning.
And in other news, before we take a break, we wanted to let you know about a new way to get MTN News. Q2's Casey Conlon shows us how fresh content is just a few clicks away.
Watching MTN News with the new Q2 streaming app on Roku lets you see live newscasts, weather, sports, breaking news events, and a lot more. To get set up, just grab the remote and go to your home screen. Then go to the left-hand side and hit search. Type in Q2, select add channel, and you're all set. It's that easy. Now, what if you don't have Roku? Well, we've got you covered with apps for Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV. You'll find instructions for all those devices on our website at ktvq.com/streaming. With each of these apps, you can experience all of the coverage you've come to expect from MTN, including the award-winning Under the Big Sky series, highlights and compelling stories from montanasports.com, and in-depth coverage of the state's largest industry with the Montana Ag Network. All of that, plus the local news and weather you count on every day. So download the Q2 streaming app today for Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, or Android TV, and head to ktvq.com/streaming for answers to all your questions from Montana's streaming news leader.
Thank you so much, Casey.